継ぐ資格があるか見せてもらうぞ。わしが率いる三島財閥主催の格闘技大会。そこは史上最強を求めた格闘家たちが全世界から集う武の競演じゃった。あまたの格闘家たちも所詮わしの敵ではなかった。奴以外は奴はわしから全てを奪い去った。
力こそ全てだ。俺は手に入れた圧倒的な力。この大会が俺の波動を飾る最初の一歩となる。戦いの価値、俺は一人の女に出会う。恐れることなく近づいてきた。風間純、不思議な女だった。せいや！勝ち進んだ俺の前に現れた。生きていたとはな。まさかこの俺が。貴様は俺の手で必ず。
三島財閥当主の座に返り咲いたわしはある伝説を耳にする。古来より南米の奥地には闘神が眠るという。究極の武を手中にできるというその伝説にわしは魅せられた。しかし探索は失敗に終わる。
俺は母がいてさえくれればそれでよかった。なぜだ。その頃俺は母の遺言に従い三島平八のもとに身を寄せていた。力だけを求めていた。圧倒的な力を。俺は平八に勧められるまま大会に参加した。そして奴は現れた。母の仇を前にした時、何かが俺の中で弾けた。力のためには血縁の死さえ厭わない。呪われた三島の血。 あの時何があったのか思い出せる。
ジンの行方を追っていたわしは一枚の写真を入手する。そこには全身に火傷を負った男の姿が映し出されておった。間違いない。この男は。写真の男が和也だと確信したわしは遺体の行方を追っていくうちに G 社という新興企業に行き当たる。 G 社は入手した和也の遺体から遺伝子データを解析し新たな人体を生み出そうとしておった。事実を知ったわしは鉄拳衆を率い G 社研究施設へと向かった。生きておったのか。奴を消せ。手段が問わん。まんまと取り逃がすとは。だが和也よ、三島財閥当主の座をかけたこの大会、無視することはできまい。舞台は整った。あとはお前も現れると思っておったわ、ジン。和也をしのぐほどのその力、わしがもらう。わしは諦めんぞ。いつの日か必ず。何者じゃ貴様ら。
三島もこれで終わりだ。
その頃俺はあの時俺の中で何かが50年前、息子である平八から全てを奪われた男、三島陣八。かつて最強の剣士と呼ばれた男に俺は勝った。そう、力こそ全てだ。
当主となったジンは世界に対し独立と宣戦を布告した。ジンは言う。圧倒的な力で全てを終わりにすると。三島財閥の全世界掌握は時間の問題と思われていた頃、G 社が三島財閥の前に立ちはだかる。その頃から俺はこの戦いに疑問を抱くようになっていた。俺たちのこの戦いは本当に正しいのだろうか。俺は志を同じくする者たちと共に 鉄拳衆全兵力の半数を引き連れ三島財閥からの反乱を決意する。そんな中 G 社はジンに莫大な懸賞金をかけると発表。 G 社の発表に呼応するように三島財閥は大会の開催を宣言した。大会が進行する中、ジンの行方を追い中東の遺跡に向かった俺たちは太古の化け物アザゼルの復活を目の当たりにする。自ら戦争を引き起こすことで世界を負の感情で満たし、アザゼルを復活させ、アザゼルもろとも追消滅することで世界を救う。それがジンの真の狙いだった。果たしてそれは正しい道だったのだろうか。消息不明となったジンに代わり三島財閥の当主に返り咲いた平八はデビルの力を持つ和也をおびき出すためザ・キング・オブ・アイアンフィストトーナメントの開催を宣言する。その裏で消息不明となっていたジンを救出した俺たちはアジトに潜伏しながら攻勢に出るチャンスを伺っていた。やがて三島財閥と G 社による戦争は苛烈さを増していき、ついに平八と和也の戦いに決着の時が訪れる。
貴様からは全てを取り戻す。戦いとは最後にどちらが立っているか、それだけだ。
決着はついた。しかし和也は三島財閥を壊滅させた後も世界を侵攻し続けている。平八なき今和也を止めることができるのは俺たちだけだ。
ああ、デビルの力を持つ者として和也は俺が殺す。
ラース司令、間もなくオペレーションライトニングを開始します。
三島平八が消えてから半年、ようやく掴んだチャンスだ。
ああ、今日こそ世界の敵を撃つ。全てはあいつにかかっている。頼むぞ風待ち。
生きていたか。世界に戦争の種をばらまいた大罪人が今さら何の用だ。
三島
和也。
お前の存在が世界に争いを
抜かせ。その戦争を始めたのは貴様だろう。
全てはデビルの血を根絶するためだ。
貴様は自分自身すら否定するか。愚かだ風間陣。
黙れ。
した自覚はあるのか。
俺は罪を償わねばならない。デビルの力を持つ者として貴様、俺が殺す。
茶番はいい。さっさとデビル化するがいい。
お前を殺し全てを終わらせる。ファイト。貴様の負けだ。
力の差を知れ。とどめだ。俺の血を引いていながらこの程度か。俺を殺さなければより多くの人間が死ぬことになるぞ。
俺はまた守れないのか。
力に飲まれたか。覚悟も執念もお前は全てが浅い。
Admiral, a few city blocks have been lost. The top brass has given us attack orders.
C'est inutile. Ignorez ça. Raven, donnez la priorité au sauvetage des survivants. Vous vous montrez finalement tel que vous êtes vraiment.
Zen 世界の人類に告げる。
貴様ら人類は武器や兵器に頼りすぎ軟弱な生物と化した。この世界を牛耳っているのは自ら戦うことを忘れた弱者どもだ。臆病者が作った社会やルールになぜおとなしく従う。バカバカしい。目を覚ますがいい。
くだらぬ世界のルールを俺が書き換えてやる。ふん。
あの部隊との通信途絶。軍事衛星が次々と撃墜されています。
俺が支配する世界で生きる資格があるのは力を示せる者だけだ。
ここに俺はザ・キング・オブ・アイアンフィストトーナメントの開催を宣言する。
強き者はトーナメントに集え。
己の拳で栄光を勝ち取るがいい。ただし
力を示せぬ弱者は国ごと消えてもらうことになる。
さあ全人類よ、世界を闘争で満たせ。
俺は負けたのか。
ジン、風間の拳は
It's been 1 week since Kazuya Mishima, head of G Corporation, shot down the key military satellites. While the militaries of the world are unable to function, the qualifiers for G Corporation's tournament have begun. The whole world is watching this tournament that gives power to the victorious country and levies penalties on the loser.
ベッドの上は1週間で飽きたか？
いつまでも寝ていられるか。
どれぐらい動けるようになったか試してやる。
殺すつもりで来る。
その覚悟見せてもらおう。
ファイト。
今のは聞いたぞ。
Took it!
とも悪い知らせだ。
リー、何があった？
ジンの筋力、反応、すべての値が低下している。別人と言ってもいい。
ジン、デビルの力を見せてみろ。
デビルになれないだと。
ジンさん、大丈夫け？
すまない。瓦礫に埋もれた俺を助けてくれたそうだな、アリサ。感謝する。
当然のことをしたまでです。ジンさんはみんなの希望だすけ。ジンさんの誰より強い意志と覚悟をみんなが知っています。あまり抱え込まないでくださいね。
みんなの希望か。希望をつかむには俺の手は汚れすぎた。
デビルの力について調査依頼している有識者とは近々合流予定だ。
それとトーナメントを妨害する件だが、
アリサを送り込むしかないか。
待ってくれ。俺をトーナメントに出場させてくれ。俺のデビルの力は戦いの中窮地に陥った際に発言した。力が蘇るとしたらそれもまた戦いの中でだろう。
カズヤ主催のトーナメントだ。G 社が仕掛けてくるかもしれん。それでも行くのか？
デビルの力は必ず取り戻す。そして次こそは差し違えてでも奴を殺す。
いいだろう。だが予選大会は3日後だ。それまでもう少しまともに戦えるよう準備しておけ。
ああ、恩に着る。
You to keep your promise now that you beat me.
Yeah, I won't let him go unchecked. I'll give Kazuya a nice smack in the face!
Here are the fighters that will move to the main tournament after winning the qualifiers for each region. First up is the European B block. All eyes are on this next fighter, Lily from Monaco. The final tournament will certainly be one to watch. Next, the South American block winner is an MMA star who has jumped into the spotlight, Azucena M. Ortiz from Peru. Last is the North America B block winner. The hero who saved New York rises to the challenge again. Leroy Smith of America. It's an impressive lineup of fighters. We'll be looking forward to seeing them in action. These exciting block qualifiers will definitely keep us all watching.
人類よ、戦いに教本しろ。世界を混沌で満たすがいい。
準決勝進出おめでとうございます。はじめまして、ジン先輩。私レイナって言います。私も三島高専に通ってて、ジン先輩の噂いろいろ聞きました。あれ、完全スルーですか？私が次の試合で勝てば、ジン先輩の次の相手は私です。必ず勝ちますから、その時はお手合わせお願いします。
はい、今のところ G 社の介入は見受けられません。
で、彼の調子はどうだい？
なんとか勝ち上がってはいますが。
デビルの力が戻る様子はないか。
ベスト4最後の一枠を掴んだのは無名の新人レイナ選手だ。
ジン先輩、勝ちましたよ。
続きまして準決勝第一試合を行います。
レイナ選手は三島高専に退学中。入学以前にも不審なデータはありません。
では G 社の資格という線は
なさそうですね。
なんと瞬殺、韓国のファラン選手、圧倒的強さで決勝へ駒を進めました。
手強い相手ですね。
準決勝を勝ち抜いたとして今のジンが勝てるかどうか。
ただいまより準決勝第2試合を行います。
ようやく戦えますね、ジン先輩。私試合の時は荒っぽくなるので気をつけてくださいね。
レディーファイト。
本気出しますね。死ねい。
西野流だと。
どうしました？亡霊でも見たかのような顔しちゃって。貴様が覚醒する原因となった技、とくと味わう。 命を脅かすほどの危機がデビル化の鍵か。面白い。枝だ。ゴーさんです。ゴーさん。
勝者風間仁選手。
また力に飲まれかけていたのか。
おーっとバラン選手が段取り無視で登場だ。
적당히 몸이 풀린 것 같군.
ファウラン。
네 몸이 다시 붙기 전에 싸우자고. 가자마 진!
本気で来い。
それでは始めましょう。決勝へレディーファイト。
그러냐 가자마 진!
熱い。俺はこの熱をいつから忘れていた。
설마 이걸로 끝은 아니겠지?
ファイト。
이제 좀 재밌어지는데. 이건 어떠냐? 결판을 내보자고. 내가 이겼어! 제법이잖아. 하지만 승부는 이제 시작이야.
来い。負けはしない。 受けてみろ。ここで終わらせる。
優勝は風間仁選手。イタリアの決勝トーナメントへ出場決定です。
確かに今デビルの力が。だ暴走する気配はなかった。
치, 럭키 펀치 같은 걸 맞아버리다니. 아이 귀찮아. 시작하자마 진, 넌 기묘한 힘을 가진 것 같은데. 그것도 포함해서 너야. 아, 재미없어. 저런 얼간이한테 지다니.
진先輩。
お前はレイナか。
実は私、ジン先輩にお願いがあるんです。
The woman you were looking for was with a serious marksman.
奴らがイタリア国内から出ないよう監視を続けろ。
ザフィーナさんとクラウディ
Solo to rally union members, while former President Donald Trump sits for an interview with his billionaire backer Elon Musk.
Venezuela's opposition leader on her country's disputed elections and her call for global protests against the government of Nicolas Maduro.
This is not sustainable. We will not surrender. We will not give up.
And the impact of a Supreme Court ruling making it easier to carry guns in New York City.
Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions, and friends of the NewsHour, including Kathy and Paul Anderson, and Camilla and George Smith.
The John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, fostering informed and engaged communities. More at kf.org.
And with the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the NewsHour. The 2024 campaign is in full swing, with Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, hitting the trail on his own for the first time.
It comes a day after former President Donald Trump's 2-hour live stream with Elon Musk on X, formerly Twitter. But what was billed as a triumphant return to that social media platform was fraught with tech troubles. Laura Barone Lopez starts our coverage.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Los Angeles, California today. Stop number 1 of a 5-state dash that has the VP pick flying solo for the first time.
We can't hope that we defeat Donald Trump. We can't hope that we can collectively bargain. We can't hope we protect Social Security. We can't hope that we address climate change. You don't hope to win. You plan, prepare, and work to win.
He addressed the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees at its annual convention, the largest trade union representing the public sector in the U.S., and it already endorsed the Harris-Walz ticket.
We know exactly who built this country. It was nurses, it was teachers, and it was state and local government employees that built this nation. People in this room built the middle class. Thank you, ask me.
Walz will spend the coming days fundraising across the country, a level of campaigning relatively new for the former teacher and coach. Meanwhile, for Trump,
Biden actually did something that was impossible. Both sides hate him.
a return to X, the social media platform previously known as Twitter, that banned him after the January 6th insurrection because of the risk of further incitement of violence. The site's current owner, Elon Musk, who endorsed Trump last month, hosting the former president last night for a high-profile interview.
My apologies for the late start.
But it was plagued with glitches. Musk, without evidence, blamed a nearly 40-minute delay on a distributed denial of service attack. Once the stream finally got going, Trump got rambling. He again praised modern dictators.
Elon, I know every one of them, and I know them well. I know Putin, I know President Xi, I know Kim Jong-un of North Korea. I know every one of them. They're at the top of their game. They're tough, they're smart, they're vicious, and they're going to protect their country.
In stark contrast to Walz's appeal to workers, Trump applauded Musk, who is also the CEO of Tesla, for firing his employees who went on strike.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, you want to quit? They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike and you say, that's okay, you're all gone.
After the comments, United Auto Workers filed federal labor charges against both Trump and Musk.
My intention is...
As for the independent candidate in the race, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will not be on the ballot in New York. A judge ruled he falsely claimed residency in the state, despite living in California.
Voting for reproductive freedom for all.
And a major change to the ballot in Arizona and Missouri. Voters will decide whether to enshrine a right to abortion in their state constitutions. 2 of 8 states so far presenting the issue to voters in November. All this as Connecticut, Minnesota, Vermont, and Wisconsin held their primaries today. Voters heading to the polls for a say in key congressional races, including Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, the latest progressive squad member fighting a challenge to her seat. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Laura Barone-Lopez.
We start the day's other headlines in the Middle East. Iran has rejected a call from European leaders to refrain from retaliatory strikes on Israel, calling it a, quote, excessive request. The region is bracing for such an attack following the death last month of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, which Iran blames on Israel. In Washington today, a State Department spokesperson said that, quote, no one benefits from any kind of retaliation, adding that all parties should exercise restraint.
Everyone in the region should understand that further attacks only perpetuate conflict, instability, and insecurity for everyone. And so what we're focused on is intensively on de-escalation through diplomacy.
In the meantime, the U.S. has approved the sale of $20 billion worth of arms to Israel, including fighter jets and advanced air-to-air missiles. But the weapons are not expected to get to Israel anytime soon, as they're tied up in contracts that can take years to fulfill. Ukraine's army chief says his troops have won control of another 15 square miles of Russian territory in just the past day. Ukraine now claims to control 74 communities in the Kursk region following last week's surprise incursion. But Russia says it's fighting back, releasing this unverified video of an alleged counteroffensive to stop Ukraine's advances. Ukraine's largest cross-border raid since the war began has forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate the area. In Kyiv, a foreign ministry official stressed that the goal of the operation is not occupation.
Unlike Russia, Ukraine does not need other people's property. Ukraine is not interested in taking the territory of the Kursk region.
He goes on to say that Ukraine's offensive is instead aimed at preventing Russia from carrying out long-range strikes launched from the Kursk region back into Ukraine. Tropical storm Ernesto lashed the northeast Caribbean today with heavy rain and wind. It's now expected to head north of Puerto Rico, where officials have closed schools and activated the National Guard. Forecasters are warning of up to 8 inches of rain there with possible flooding and landslides. Ernesto is the 5th named storm of this year's Atlantic hurricane season. It's predicted to gain hurricane strength early tomorrow, but is not currently on track to hit the southeastern U.S. A grand jury in Ohio indicted police officer Connor Grubb today on charges including murder in the death of a 21-year-old pregnant black woman. Grubb and another officer approached Takaya Young's car in a store parking lot last August after she was suspected of shoplifting. The other officer ordered her to exit the car. Instead, Young rolled her vehicle forward and Grubb fired one bullet through the windshield, hitting her in the chest and killing her. Young's unborn daughter also died. Grubb is due to be arraigned in court tomorrow. A former Kansas police chief who led a raid last year on a weekly newspaper has been charged with felony obstruction of justice. The single charge against Gideon Cody relates to accusations that he asked a business owner who was a potential witness to delete texts between them. Cody justified the raid on the Marion County Record by saying police were investigating whether the paper committed identity theft and illegally accessed information in reporting a story. It sparked national outrage as an assault on press freedom. Prosecutors later concluded no crime was ever committed by the paper's publisher or staff. On Wall Street today, stocks jumped after a report on producer prices fueled hopes for a rate cut next month. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added more than 400 points on the day. The Nasdaq rose more than 400 points as well, or nearly 2.5%. The S&P 500 also saw strong gains. Still to come, on the News Hour, former President Trump raises the idea of taking a heavier hand with the traditionally independent Federal Reserve. A bipartisan effort identifies how lawyers can help preserve American democracy. And a former military fort turned art center celebrates 50 years of bringing people together through creativity.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.
The top United Nations human rights official today criticized Venezuelan authorities for what he called arbitrary detentions and disproportionate use of force, more than 2 weeks after elections that the opposition says it won. In a moment, Nick Schifrin speaks with the main opposition leader who was blocked before the vote from running. But first, he has a look at President Nicolas Maduro's crackdown and the opposition's resistance.
In downtown Caracas, they lit candles to demand democracy, but also memorialize what they called their lost freedom and the regime's opponents who've been disappeared since they demanded President Nicolas Maduro step down for allegedly stealing last month's election. The government calls the crackdown on its critics Operation Knock Knock. Police officers armed with guns and videos of protesters have arrested more than 2,000 and launched a social media campaign with music, even Christmas jingles, showing off police detaining what the government calls criminal terrorists.
I tell you, people of Venezuela, they tried to rob electoral centers. I've asked the Attorney General to have an iron fist with terrorists, with opposition protesters, with violent people. We will not allow them to create a spiral of violence.
Opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez is in hiding, posting videos online. But last month, with his political patron Maria Corina Machado, showed proof he more than doubled Maduro's votes.
We have in our hands the tallies that demonstrate our categorical and mathematically irreversible victory.
Maduro and his allies on the Electoral Council say he won with 51%, but have refused to publish the vote breakdown. Over 11 years, Maduro's authoritarian rule has led to economic collapse, diplomatic isolation, and the exodus of nearly 8 million Venezuelans. The U.S. is hoping diplomacy can force a democratic transition.
The U.S., along with other international partners, including countries like Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, have called for transparency and called for the release of detailed vote tallies. And we urge Venezuelan parties to begin discussions to a peaceful transition back to democratic norms.
And to discuss this pivotal political crisis in Venezuela, I'm joined by opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. She joins us from an undisclosed location. Thank you very much. Welcome to the NewsHour. Let's talk about this crackdown that we just highlighted that Maduro and his regime has launched. 2,400 have been arrested. Rights groups say 24 killed. How brutal has it been? And are those numbers actually even higher?
It has been brutal. It is happening as we speak. We have hundreds of members of our teams that are actually in hiding. The regime has even got to their homes and marked their homes, their doors. They have taken monitors that worked as volunteers. And if they don't find them, they have even taken their family or members of their family so that they will, hand out to the regime. So we are now very concerned because we are preparing for a huge mobilization this next Saturday around the world and in Venezuela. And we expect the regime once again to try to crack down on peaceful protesters.
What do you believe is the threat to you personally? The Attorney General, a longtime Maduro ally, has announced a criminal probe against you. Maduro himself said you should spend 30 years behind bars. What's the threat to you?
Maduro said a couple of days ago, I'm a terrorist. The regime knows that the defeat they suffered was huge. The world knows that Venezuelan people voted for change, and we have the proofs. And at this point, the only thing Maduro has done is use violence and be surrounded by the top ranks of the military. But this is not sustainable. We will not surrender. We will not give up. And we ask for the democratic world to accompany the Venezuelan people on this, struggle for freedom.
We've talked about that call on Saturday that you just made for a large protest. What are you hoping to achieve? And why do you think the protests so far haven't been bigger?
Well, the protests have been huge. But the thing is that repression has been, as I said, cruel. And we need to administer these people power in moments in which a lot of people can come together and they are safe. And that's how we are designing the Saturday event. We're calling people to come with their children, grandchildren, their parents. It will take place in over 120 cities around the world and in tens of cities inside Venezuela. It is a moment in which we all will get together, not only the Venezuelan people and the Latin community, but also Americans, Europeans, people that understand how important, critical is to solve the conflict in Venezuela. We've never had so much strength as we have right now. And in 25 years, the regime has never been so weak as it is right now.
Do you believe that large protests is the best way to pressure Maduro? And what role is Gonzalez playing? I've been told that the opposition in general is not unified, is it?
No, it is absolutely unified. Not only the position, our country. That narrative the regime used to put in place that this is a polarized country, that is not true. Over 70% of our people wanted Edmundo to be president and voted for him, even though large millions of Venezuelans were allowed to do it inside and abroad. And now we are all coming together, not only to support Edmundo Gonzalez, but to defend the values that have brought Venezuelan society in this huge and profound social movement that goes beyond ideological ideas. This is a spiritual struggle that has brought all the base of society together at this point. We need certain internal pressure, but also the international community supporting us and make Maduro understand, as I said before, that his best option is to accept a negotiation with us.
Let me ask about U.S. policy, therefore. The U.S. has echoed what you just talked about, negotiated transition. It is working with allies and partners in the region, and it is not, so far, imposing penalties on Maduro or his deputies, including reimposing sanctions, introducing new sanctions, perhaps. Do you support the U.S. approach so far?
I am very grateful for the support we've received from the Biden administration and from both parties in Congress. Fortunately, Venezuela has been a Venezuelan cause for democracy, a bipartisan cause, because it is well understood that it's a main issue in terms of national security. I mean, Venezuela right now is the biggest migration crisis in the world. And if Maduro stays by force, you will see in a very short period of time, 3, 4, 5 million Venezuelans fleeing our country, many reaching the US border. And that's not what we want. We want those that have already left come back. So it is a moment in which we have to understand that Maduro has to be pushed. It's not only offering him benefits from leaving power, but it's also making it costlier for the regime to stay in power.
Let me ask you explicitly then, should the U.S. be reimposing some oil sanctions, and should the U.S. impose new sanctions on the people that you've identified have stolen this election?
I think there are a wide variety of actions the different countries, not only the U.S., can put in place. Certainly some of them directed to those who have committed crimes against humanity. Just yesterday, the UN fact-finding mission said that there is a pattern for crimes against humanity in the actions that have taken place in the last 2 weeks. This is brutal, so it has to be stopped. So and the real incentives have to be put on the table, and Maduro to understand that he cannot keep on doing what he's doing right now. We are doing our part, and we will. Our movement is a peaceful, civic movement, but it is not weak. On the contrary, it's gaining strength because people will not surrender.
You mentioned incentives. Should the U.S. explicitly offer Maduro and some of his allies, many of whom have been indicted by the Department of Justice in the U.S., relief from those indictments or safe passage for their leaving Venezuela?
There are different options, and all of those should be addressed at a negotiation process that has to be done seriously and with a clear objective, which is a transition to democracy. In the past, the regime has participated in several dialogues, and they have never complied with their commitments. This time is going to be different. Maduro has lost completely its legitimacy. Everybody knows that inside and abroad, that this is the most grotesque fraud in the history of this hemisphere.
Maria Corina Machado, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.
In Greece, authorities say lighter winds today helped crews tame a wildfire that came within miles of the center of Athens. The blaze killed at least one person and forced multiple evacuations across the city's suburbs. Residents returned today to find their homes reduced to ash. And as winds pick back up this afternoon, the region is again on high alert. Sangeeta Lal of Independent Television News reports.
The roots are still burning beneath the soil here, even though the inferno has passed. There is a constant threat this earth could ignite again and cause even more damage. There's little to salvage for families who return today and little comfort for Thanasis, who used to work in this factory.